I mean, we haven't even gotten there yet. And
I
you're
know.
laughing already. I mean, we're not even past the intro music, and you're already laughing.
You gave me this 3, 2, 1 silent thing, like we're supposed to be quiet during this.
Shh. We're supposed to listen to the intro. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our podcast.
Woohoo!
It's Jeff and Jamie. We're back with you again on another relationship podcast in February. We are absolutely wonderfully excited to talk to you more about marriage.
We are.
We have
chuckling.
been married for 30 years.
Yes.
Do you know that?
I do know that. And I'm staring across you with your cute wild hair and your bright yellow. You look great today.
Cute is not so. You know, there was one time when we were out dancing on the dance floor. Now,
We were younger.
to give you a little bit, you know what? One of the things, we have a ton of new listeners out there, and they may have no idea what it is, where we came from, who we are, or where we're going in regards to the podcast.
Okay.
So I was thinking we might want to give just a little bit of an introduction. So I'm Jeff. And,
I'm Jamie.
and I am 6'5". All right, just to give you a little bit of perspective. That's why I thought I'm 6'5". So a 6'5" person is a taller person, would you say?
Yes.
And Jamie is 5'3".
Mm-hmm.
She's a very petite person.
I nestled tightly in your armpit.
That is quite the visual.
I know. But it does give you the visual
It does
of how
give you
much
the visual
shorter
of how
I
much
am
shorter
than
you are. And so imagine both of us out running or walking together. We are quite the sight. A very tall guy with a very petite woman running. And we run at the same pace.
We do.
We
We've
run at
worked
our
hard for
pace.
that. Yeah.
What I was thinking about when you said cute, I look cute with my hair. Now, what she's referencing is right now, if you were to see us on camera, I am still in my running outfit and my hair is completely crazy right now.
Crazy.
Like mad scientists like Albert Einstein crazy.
Yes.
Would
You've
you say
got
it's
all
that?
kinds of ideas just crackling from your hair.
From my hair. We were on the dance floor. This is probably after we'd been married for 2 or 3 years.
I don't even know
And
if
we
it was
love
that
dancing.
long. I felt like it was just shortly after we were married, like just a couple months. Anyway, we were newlyweds still.
We were newlyweds on the dance floor, and we were just cutting
And we
a
were
rug.
young.
I mean, we were going for it. We were
Cutting
doing,
a rug.
Yeah,
updates
cutting a
us.
rug.
We were hot. We were awesome.
Oh, we were looking
least
good. At least
in our minds,
eyes.
we thought we looked awesome.
We thought everyone was just looking at us going, wow, they are
Look
so
at
Look
that.
at them move and groove. Now, if you've ever seen a 6'5" guy dancing, it's not really, I mean, I do an okay job, but 6'5" is pretty tall to be dancing. And people kind of, it looks a little weird, just to say it that way. I know I look weird, but I really don't care. That's why I DJ. I mean, I DJ as well,
Yes.
and it looks weird, and I really don't care.
We love the music.
We'd just gotten done with the song. We were walking off the dance floor, and someone came up to us and said, "You are such a cute couple." Now, to us, we took that as the worst insult that anyone could ever give us, because we're like, not hot, not sexy, not really fantastic, really looking good. And now that I look back on it, it's probably the best that they could come up with. You just look cute.
You're cute. Cute's a nice word.
Cute is a nice word.
I like the word cute.
This month, we're talking about relationships, and we talked last podcast about marriage and how to apply streaking to marriage in also the context of the love languages.
Right.
We're talking about what were the 5 love languages and how you might be able to set a streak around them. So what we're doing today is continuing our conversation with a little bit different twist on the marriage streaks.
I like that.
Because what we had talked about last time was what I could do as an individual to have a streak that would improve our marriage. And you were talking about that as an individual.
Yes.
Today, I'd like to go into, are there couple streaks? In other words, a streak where both of you have to do it in order for it to count. And how might that change your marriage? Now, you and I have a streak. Let's start, first of all, with an individual streak that kind of acts like a couple streak,
Yeah, we have an individual streak, but we often do it together.
which is run, walk, at
Run,
least
yeah.
6 days
A week.
at least 1 mile.
And so when we're not together, or sometimes when we are together, we can do it individually, obviously, and it counts for the streak. But it is something that because we both have the same streak, we often do it together.
And with that, the thing that I was thinking about is if I stopped the streak, you could keep going because it's
Yeah.
not reliant on both of us.
It's not reliant on both of us.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. So it's an individual streak that we often do together, but I wouldn't call it a couple's streak.
when we were first writing the book, where the idea of streaking all came together was the Shumways, and they had they had a running streak. They were members of the United States Running Streak Association, which, by the way, just a little tangent on that. Mark Washburn, who's the president, he sent me a note, and I'm submitting an article today or tomorrow to the newsletter for the United States Running Streak Association. He asked us to write on it, and he read the book, and he said he was inspired by it. Well, I thanked him for giving us the inspiration.
He was the inspiration.
Yeah,
yes,
him and their Running
and
Streak
the
Association to put it all together. Jeff and Diane Shumway, back to the story now, they were running together, and then Jeff Shumway, unfortunately, he had to have abdominal surgery.
And they wouldn't let him even
they
walk.
wouldn't let him. I mean, he wanted to. And he's like, no, got to be careful. And so they had both been going for 10 years. So his 10-year streak ended, and she kept going.
Right.
So that was an individual streak that the couple had together. He, after the surgery, got back up and running. And I think the last time, I'm not sure what it is today. I think he's probably at 7 years. She may be at 20.
Right.
20 or 22, something like that. Didn't get my math exactly right there.
I know. I was thinking
we'll go back and calculate that a little bit later.
The point was she carried on with her 15 years plus, and he ended his 10-year streak, but started again when he could. And
just a quick question, top of mind thought. Do you think that was a difficult time in the marriage because one person ended a streak and the other person kept going with it? Or do you think it united them and brought them together and gave them strength?
I think that would be a uniting thing. There may be something that's a little bit difficult in the sense that one person has to end the streak. I think that's always a little bit hard when you've got a streak going and you have to end it. But I know if I was in that situation and we kind of had this streak together, because we have our streaks about the same.
Would you end your streak if I had to end mine?
No, if I could keep doing it and you had to end yours. And I don't think you would want me to.
I wouldn't want you to.
In the same way that I wouldn't ask you to end yours if I had to have something done. And in a lot of ways, maybe it would be this great opportunity of motivation. You're keeping going and I'm getting healthy so that I can go out there.
What I think about too is I would, vicariously live through you on your streak for a while.
Right.
If I couldn't do, for whatever reason, the run walk streak, and you could, I would be very excited for you to keep going. And I would be excited to start again.
I think so too. I think we would find ways. I'm just trying
to envision in my mind. I would think about it. I'm like, go do it, please.
Please go.
Because I think it would make me feel worse if you stopped because I stopped.
Right. So it can be this thing. I love that part of what builds and strengthens relationships are shared experiences. When you have shared experiences together, that builds and strengthens those relationships.
I think this is a critical point right here because shared experiences are something you and I discovered very early on, that we didn't want to have experiences separate from each other, even though we still do.
Right, we still do, but
we strive diligently to have shared experiences. I remember when we were first married, you were adamant, and I will say adamant, that we take family vacations. And I wasn't really converted to it yet. I mean, I thought I've got a lot of work to do. I've got things going on. And you were
I'm
adamant.
trying to remember why that was so important, because growing up, I didn't take family vacations a lot. And maybe that was it. Maybe that was part of it, is I'm like, with my family, I want to go on vacation. We're going on vacations.
So one of the things I did when she was very adamant about going on vacation, and I honestly didn't understand it. I really didn't. One of the things I did, though, is I found a Disney cruise. I found a deal on a Disney cruise. This was early in our family life, and I told you, I just bought the tickets, and I called you, and I said, okay, we're going to go on a Disney cruise.
We've got a year to figure out how we're going to pay for it.
That was it, too.
But it was a great opportunity to have. That is a very wonderful shared experience. We've only done it once. But it was wonderful. I loved it.
And we had no idea. And I remember you were at the hotel and you had gotten a little bit sick before we got on the Disney cruise. Do you remember that?
I had forgotten about that. Yeah.
I had forgotten about it too. But the reason I bring it up is because it was a shared experience that we just all shared together. And you were adamant that it was not going to put a damper on.
We are going to have a good vacation.
We're going to have a good time. And gratefully,
I got better.
You got better.
I was able to go. So that's something that's great as we talk about streaks that you could do as a couple to strengthen your marriage, spending time together. At least, like, I know a lot of couples do a date night. You could have a streak around okay, we're going to set a streak to have a date night every week.
Do you know I have a streak like that?
You do?
That's individual for you.
Oh,
I have a streak that I'm going to spend one-to-one time with you weekly.
really?
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Really? You didn't know that I had that streak?
I did not know that you'd. Is that a different one than the contact?
Uh-huh.
So you have 2 streaks set around me specifically.
I actually have more than
more.
2, but we'll talk a little bit more about those. But this one specifically, the reason I set it is when I was traveling a lot, one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I do was always come home and you and I spend one-to-one time together. And this is, for me to count it as a streak, it's you and I together without any children's.
Oh, that's a good streak. I like that one. I'm surprised I haven't known that you've had it. But now that I look back, I can see.
Can you see it?
Yeah, there have been times that you've
Does
said,
that
"Do you
offend
want to
you?
go to dinner?" No, it doesn't offend me at all. I think it's fantastic. I'm thinking back to a time that you asked if I wanted to go out to dinner, and I was really tired, and I said no. But I think we watched a movie together.
Yeah.
So
We did.
You still found a way. That's great.
I've had that streak. It's alive now. It's just it's once a week. Spend one-on-one time with Jamie weekly. So just at least one time a week. I spend one-on-one time with you 98 weeks.
That's fantastic.
So that's almost 2 years old now.
Yeah.
So at 104 weeks, it'll be 2 years old.
And how do you feel that has helped? Like, you were traveling, so that's what prompted that streak.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you feel it's helped?
One of the things that it's helped me to do is, and you were mentioning this a little bit on the last podcast, is to raise the level of consciousness, to think about not necessarily just you and what we're doing business-wise, because there's a lot of business things that we do in
That's
our
true.
relationship. There's, finances that we need to take care of, food, clothing,
House things.
house fixing,
repairs,
which we're going
car
through
repairs.
massive repairs right now.
I'm wiping the dust off of our table.
Yeah, we're
as we
refinishing our
refinish
hardwood
floors.
floors together. This was a fun one, just side tangent. I'll come right back to it. Jamie left out of town, and she was, because Natalia is getting married, and so Jamie went to get everything taken care of for the marriage. And while she was gone, I had hinted once that I was going to refinish. I thought, you know what? While you're gone, you've always threatened when I leave that you're going to paint something. And now I have the opportunity to do it in reverse. And so I told her just in passing, hey, I might start refinishing the hardwood floors. Now, you have to know that one of the things that we had decided beforehand is that we were going to hire this to be done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting the look right now. You should see the look. Well, I just decided on a hair. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Now you should, let's see, I've done 3 or 4 hardwood floors that I've refinished. So I wasn't acting completely out of the blue. However, I was acting in essence individually. And so I got the kids. Spontaneously, I got the kids. We moved all of the furniture into the family room and guest bedrooms, and we started refinishing the floors. I rented 2 floor sanders and everything else. And I finally, this does have a point. I am coming back to the point. I, with the kids, and they thought I was crazy too. They still think I'm crazy.
Yeah, they did. I got a text message. Let's see. It said, next text message, sane.
So that was from Ace.
That is
insane. And if you looked at my hair right now and how it looks, absolutely insane. I thought that we might be able to get it all done before you got back. And then I realized about, halfway through the first morning that there was no way on this good green earth of ours that I was going to get it done. So then the next morning I called and I told you. And at first, she was a little bit surprised, shocked, everything else.
Took me a minute to take it all in. Okay.
However, then when you came home and I picked you up, you came and you looked around and it was chaos, and you are a person of order. So if you want to know something else about Jamie, she loves order and is very good at putting order around chaos. And I always pictured you when you saw the family room for the first time. You were a little bit overwhelmed.
Let's see. We have 2 kitchen tables, another round table, all the chairs, the fridge, all of my decorations. Everything just got put in that room.
Yes.
All of the food from the pantry
Yes.
just put in that room.
Absolutely. Now, the reason I went off on this entire tangent, and I'm coming back now, please, is it was a shared experience.
Yes.
And it was something, though, that required you to be a little bit flexible in that arena, and which I appreciated, because I mean, it is chaos right now.
It is chaos right now.
And you should know that Jamie did organize the family room so that everything is in order, at least in the family room.
I did.
Which brings us back now to why I set the streak of one-to-one time. Because I think in the chaos of life and everything that's happening, I can lose track of actually connecting with you and being one-to-one with you. And I don't ever want to lose that. I want to intentionally think about, have I spent one-to-one time with you weekly? Because that's part of the shared experiences.
That's a really good example, because our life is a little chaotic right now, in the sense of literally the furniture is everywhere, and the pattern of life has been completely disrupted as we take on this big project. And that's one of my favorite things about having a streak, is that it enables the things that are important to you to continue happening even in moments of chaos and disruption. And you bring up a great point that maybe if I hadn't been so accommodating and appreciating your gift of service in refinishing the floors to me, that maybe that one-on-one time would have spent working through it.
This is what I got, Jeff. We cannot do everything. We cannot do it all. I mean, we got the list. I went through the list of everything that's happening right now.
I did go through the list and think, and we're going to do this.
You're having the most busy time you've ever had at work. We're doing our podcast with streaking. We're meeting with the streaking meetings. And I don't think we've announced all our podcast listeners, but maybe we should now.
What are we announcing?
That we're moving.
We are moving.
We're leaving the great state of Georgia, which we have learned so much in, and we are heading back to our listeners out there in Colorado. That's right. We're coming back to Colorado.
We are heading back to Colorado.
Hello, Colorado.
Things will be a little crazy for a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit crazy for a little bit.
And I love that we have the streaks to help keep that solid foundation in place.
And what I see is that the other reason I set the one-to-one streak, one other thing that I wanted to say, one of the things that has helped me in my career, and this is for anyone that's out there, you have your career, your professional life. One of the things that has hugely impacted me in my career is being able to share with you some of the different business problems that I'm having, organizational problems that I'm having, and you listen to them and you give me a perspective that otherwise I don't get, because it's unfiltered. You don't really know the situation, so it requires me to articulate exactly what's going on. And sometimes when I think something is a big deal and I articulate it to you, and you look at me and go like, I'm not seeing how it's a big deal. It's very helpful.
Right.
And that's the other reason why I wanted the one-to-one time, is because during the week I'd have several experiences with different clients and also peers at work, and all of those different experiences and all the different things that I would do, I would come back and I was grounded with you, and you would help me to see things that I didn't see if I was having a problem, or if I didn't recognize something as a success.
Right.
Because that's one of the things too, that just saying something else about us, we discount things quite significantly. In other words, discount successes. And I guess I look at it and say, I discount successes and what is the word I'm looking for? Give weight to
I wonder how
failures.
Many people do that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I discount successes and give weight to failures.
More weight. We've talked about something similar too, where why does negative communication get more credibility sometimes than positive communication? And I don't know why that is, but it seems to be a human trait that people sometimes can often fall into. And so again, I love that. One of the things that I love about what we talk about so often in streaking, and as we're talking specifically about relationships, is that part of streaking is creating a B statement. And so as we're talking, I love that what you're sharing are things that we've evaluated about ourselves and then evaluated about us as a couple, and have taken time to think, okay, who do I want to be as a person, and who do we want to be as a couple? What do we want our family to look like? What kind of family do we want to be? What kind of couple do we want to be? And then what things do we need to do intentionally to make that happen? To recognize that you go and you get married and it's super exciting and it's really fun. But just like anything that's worthwhile, once that initial excitement wears off, there is a level of intentionality and work that needs to be put into that
When do you
relationship
think the
so that it continues to grow.
excitement wears off? Like what point in marriage? I mean, first couple of years, third year, fourth year, fifth year, first child.
I don't
What would
know,
you
it
guess? So
depends.
as you look at our relationship,
I think it depends on, so like we got married and didn't have kids for 3 years. Some people get married and have kids right away. Some jobs can take, I think there's this initial excitement, and I don't know how long it lasts, but then life does come back in, whether you start your family or jobs or school pressures or different things that come in that start to challenge sometimes, not challenge the marriage per se, but take away that moment of bliss that you get when you're first
Yes.
married and everything is just exciting. The thing that I love though is that by having these streaks, you can create more of that excitement within your marriage because you take the time to talk about the things that are important to you as a couple and what kind of couple you want to be. And then I think, as we've talked about individual streaks and couple streaks, I know we're religious, so we have a streak to pray together every day. And that's a more recent
so
streak
we say
that
at
we've
least
set.
one prayer together.
We say at least one
every
prayer
day.
together every
And
day.
you say it's a recent streak. It is a recent streak. I mean,
It
it's
is.
something that
We've been married for 30 years and we've talked about, but this was something that we finally thought, you know what, we need to put a streak around it. Not that we weren't doing it before in our marriage, but not at the level of consistency
we weren't
that we
consistent
wanted.
at it, though. You know, I felt like we were very consistent at it when we first got married, and then we had 7 children.
And then life
Let's just stop right there and appreciate that.
gets in the,
And then we had children.
and then we had children, which changes your environment
changes
in every
everything.
possible way.
Oh, I can't believe that much time has gone by.
And so
I've
think
dominated the conversation today. I'm sorry.
it's been a reminiscence marriage conversation.
One of the things I want to mention just before we get done here is couple streaks are you and I do the streak together.
Yes.
Which is why you wanted to get to the prayer, and
it's
we read at
something
least one verse of scripture together.
Right. And we do it together. And if we're a distance, I've called you sometimes and said a prayer over the phone. And then you listen to it because we didn't have the possibility of being together that day.
And I think that level of dedication is what a streak inspires, because what I want to do is look at how long I can do it, and what gets carried along for the ride is this great relationship that I have with
Right.
you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for letting me dominate the conversation today. She just sat there and listened for most of it, and hopefully you
It was
guys
great.
enjoyed it. All right. Well, we are going to continue our relationships with family next podcast. We're going to talk about how streaking really does help family. So
Till then,
until next time, Jamie, finish us off.
if you have something you want to share, text me or email me at Jamie, Jami, at streakingmastery.com and
Or at Jeffrey, Jeffrey, at streakingmastery.com.
until then, keep streaking.
Things that make you grow into what you're hoping